They say grief will break a woman, but sometimes it breaks her open. And sometimes, just sometimes, a little boy becomes the one to carry the flame.
I was 6 years old the day my brother died. Drunk driver, wrong street, wrong time. The police didn't say much, just gave my mom a name she'd never forget, and a silence she never asked for. She didn't cry at first, not in front of the church, just sat there, stiff as the wooden pew, her hand clenching mine like I was her only anchor left. Marvin was there, he'd been in our lives since I was 4. Not my daddy, but decent, docile, always quiet, respectful, especially when we were in the Lord's house. He sat behind us, pressed into his too big blazer, watching everything and saying nothing. He didn't know what to do with all that sorrow, neither did I. But I knew one thing, God was real, and Mama needed him more than she knew.
If you want to receive the Lord today, the altar is open.
Nobody moved, not one footstep, not one whisper, just the wind against stained glass and my heartbeat in my ears. So I leaned up to Mama's shoulder real soft and said, "He's with God now, Mama, but you don't gotta wait till heaven to meet him." That was it. She didn't speak, just looked at me like she'd seen a ghost, or maybe a glimpse of something holier. That night at the kitchen table, with tears in her tea and grief still caught in her throat, I helped her say her first prayer. 6 years old, hands shaking, voice small, but the spirit was loud. She gave her life to Christ that night, right there on worn linoleum, under a flickering light, next to a boy too young to understand that sometimes God sends fire through children. The years moved forward fast and full. By the time I was 12, faith had rooted deep in our house. Mama was in church 3 days a week, Sunday, Wednesday, choir rehearsals on Thursdays, and Marvin, well, he came too. Sometimes sat in the back, didn't sing, didn't stand, but he was there. He never gave his life to Christ, but he gave us peace, or at least the illusion of it. He paid bills, kept to himself, didn't raise his voice, didn't raise a hand. We weren't perfect, but we were whole, or so it seemed. By 7th grade, I had one foot in the church and the other in Philly's concrete jungle. I could quote scripture and throw hands, could lead a prayer or lead a charge. Life had me bilingual, faith and fight both fluent, but then something shifted. It started small. Marvin came home late once, nothing major. He said traffic next week, he forgot to pick up the dry cleaning. Next month the cable bill was missed. Little things, tiny cracks, things you barely notice until they start adding up. Mama started watching him, longer glances, more questions, less peace in her spirit. One Friday night I came home from school, ready to watch cartoons on the old Zenith, but the TV was gone. Not moved, not broken, gone. I asked where it went. Marvin looked me straight in the face and said, "It's at the shop, just getting repaired." Calm, steady, the same tone he always used when he told us everything was fine. But Mama, she looked at the empty space and didn't say a word, didn't ask for the receipt, didn't call the shop. She just turned and walked down the hall. Her face didn't flinch, but her soul, it started asking questions. That was the first piece. the first sign, the first silence that spoke louder than words. We didn't know what was coming, not yet. But something was shifting, and the house was about to feel it hard.